This one keeps coming back every time I delete it, so I guess we're gonna watch it. At what age do you peak? I don't know. I ain't got there yet. You feel me? At what age do you peak?
What would happen if Usain Bolt raced against himself? This is 21-year-old Usain Bolt. He's competing against 31-year-old Usain Bolt and other Usain Bolts in between. Who wins?
You guys are saying 2021 you peak? You think at 21 you peak? Even 31 peak is crazy. What? Are we talking about physical peak? You must be. Physical? But even then, 21 is crazy. What is it, 23, 27?
Bolt was 23 years old when he set the current world record at 9.58 seconds. He was never able to match that time again. If we look at the other best sprinters in history, we see that some peaked in their 20s and a few in their 30s. The typical peak of a 100-meter sprinter is around age 25 to 27.
That makes sense.
What about our other physical and mental peaks? Do we just peak in the 20s? You
Yeah,
might
no
be
fucking
thinking
way.
that this is going to be a depressing video showing that your life only gets worse from now on. But as a 30-year-old man who gets back pain from coughing too hard, I was happy to find out there are still several peaks in life ahead of me. I looked at scientific papers and gathered data on the physical and mental peaks across different stages of our lives. I also asked my subscribers
You know what I feel bad for? The folks who peak in high school, bro. It's the folks who still think back to their high school days like, oh man. Whenever I hear someone say, oh man, I miss high school, I'm like, it was fun, but like I've had so much more fun since then. Like what? Like what about now? You don't like your life now? I'd say it's pretty lit. I think because you're told so much as a kid that once you become an adult, you know, when you're a kid, you probably hear this now. When you're a kid and you like your day is bad, and someone says, "Oh, just wait till you become an adult. It gets way worse." I fucking hated hearing that, bro. I fucking hated hearing that. I'm like, stop pushing my problems under the rug. One, and two, handle your fucking responsibilities, bro. Handle your fucking responsibilities and it won't feel like shit all the time. Right? It's just hard, period. Ups and downs, period. From where I'm at right now, let me say. Right? Craziest shit hasn't happened to me yet. But I'm just saying, like, it's
Ducky,
just ups and
you wanna
downs.
hear a joke?
No, it's just ups and downs, period. It's like, yeah, it's hard. But who the fuck told you it was easy?
Or when they say you'll look back on school when you get a job.
That's what I'm saying. Because you hate the shit you do. You know? And it makes you grow up and be like, I remember I was telling some kid to stream and he was like, nah, bro, I can't stream because then I'll start to hate it because I'll hate what I do. And I'm like, are you supposed to hate? Is that like, think about that mindset that's just kind of built into you. Like you're supposed to not like what you do, right? Making money and having fun should not coincide. And people are going to hear this and be like, yeah, that's so true. Nico, what? Who the fuck told you that? That is a false statement. Like, that is a false statement, nigga. What? I'm like, what? You're bugging. You're absolutely out of pocket, man. It's crazy.
physical and mental peaks across different stages of our lives. I also asked my subscribers to fill a survey with their age, and these are the results. And good news, there should be some life peaks ahead of all of you in this chart. I'm gonna start by breaking your life into 4 stages. Stage 1, your childhood. It seems that you can run around forever, even when the adults around you get tired. It's at this age that you get your peak in fatigue resistance and speed of recovery.
That makes
You
sense.
keep getting into accidents, but that's okay because
You just
it's like
keep
your
getting
body's
back up,
learning
bro.
to recover. Your flexibility peaks around early adolescence. The skills you have now are built on the neural circuits that were shaped during certain critical periods of your young life. For learning a second language, it seems that the critical period is until age 7. If you start learning a second language after that age, you can still become proficient, but achieving a near native fluency becomes more challenging. And research suggests there are also critical periods in childhood for musical ability. But things are still getting better.
20 to 29.
Enter your 20s. Life's good.
This is
You
when shit
feel
gets good.
invincible.
Yeah.
You
Don't fucking
reflect
touch
on
me.
life faster than ever. Your reaction times tend to peak in your 20s. This study measured the reaction times of players in the video game and found that the peak was at age 24. It's also in your 20s that athletes peak for most explosive sports. That's the case of the 100-meter sprint, as we've seen before. In Olympic weightlifting, the age peak is around 26 years old.
That makes sense.
It's a bit harder to measure performance objectively for team sports, but the studies I found for basketball and football also place the peak age in the 20s. Even though in the 20s you don't learn languages as effectively as a kid, you're sharper than ever. Your visual working memory, the ability to temporarily remember and use visual details, peaks at age 20. And in the early 20s, you also peak in fluid intelligence, the ability to solve new problems without relying on pre-existing knowledge. You're smart, but you're still figuring things out. You quit your job and you book a trip to Bali to find yourself. Your brain still hasn't accumulated a lot of knowledge, and your peak in wisdom will come much later in life. Enter the 30s. Your hangovers now last 2 days. You don't understand how
Brother.
you could party so often when you
Brother.
It's
That
getting
shit lasts
harder
2
to
days
keep
for me
friends.
now.
Half of your friends
Drinking
can't-
is probably the worst pastime ever, in my opinion, bro. I just don't understand it. Like, it's cool in the moment. You might feel saucy in the moment, man. And then you're out of commission for the next, 2 days. Can't do anything because of my headache. My body feels like shit. I'm like, bro, how is this possibly worth it?
It's getting harder to keep a flat belly. Half of your friends can't shut up about their new air fryers. The other half are running half marathons. You're not sure which of the two you want to be associated with. In endurance sports, several peaks happen in the 30s. Marathon runners peak around age 30, and there's an interesting trend. It seems that the longer the duration of the event, the later the age peak tends to be at.
Really?
100K ultramarathon runners peak around age 35, and 100-mile ultramarathon runners peak at around age 37 or 39. Most people also hit their top strength around this age, with powerlifters peaking around age 35. Cognitively, although some capabilities start to decline after the 20s, some hit their peak in the 30s. The ability to remember new faces tends to peak past age 30. So the notion that you peak in your 20s is not necessarily true. There are several peaks in the 30s, and still a few more to come. Enter the second half of your life. You feel tired and you're not young anymore. You're trying to avoid the infamous midlife crisis. What other peaks could there be left? Although
really
your
wondering.
brain no longer has the neuroplasticity nor the fluid intelligence of younger times, you have a greater ability to use accumulated knowledge.
Social, you think you're funny? You think you're funny? Huh? You think you're hilarious, huh? You just came in with the jokes today. I'm just gonna get you here. Let me get you a stand and a stage, cause you're a freaking comedian. You're a freaking comedian, man. They should have put you up there instead of Chris Rock, so Will Smith could have smacked your ass.
Also known as nor the fluid intelligence of younger times, you have a greater ability to use accumulated knowledge, also known as crystallized intelligence. In careers where the years of accumulated knowledge are crucial, age peaks can occur in the middle age. For example, the average age of a successful startup founder is 45, contrary to the stereotype of young founders. And to my surprise, some research indicates that the peak in happiness actually happens in old age.
Peak and happy.
There's
Yeah,
a theory
I
that
can see
suggests
that.
happiness has a
Older you
U-shape.
get, less you
The
care.
hypothesis is that your happiness dips
Therefore,
during
I'm happy.
midlife and peaks in old age. This U-shaped theory is still debated by researchers, but I found it interesting.
At least
I
that'd be
looked at
my
the
thought
study that tried
process.
to measure it. They looked at the data from the European Social Survey, a survey that measures things like happiness, income, and health. They found that the self-reported level of happiness was higher for people with higher income overall, suggesting that money does contribute to happiness, but they also found that it was lower for older people. Does that mean the U-shaped theory is wrong? Well, firstly, they found that people in the lower and middle income groups did have a midlife dip. And secondly, they found that if we adjust the data to include factors like being healthy, having children, and living together with someone, you do get a U curve with a peak at an old age, regardless of the income level.
Okay.
In other words, old Europeans who don't fall into certain factors like being unhealthy or living alone are actually likely to report a higher level of happiness than younger people. The data is open source, so I decided to explore it myself. If we plot the age on the x-axis, income on the y-axis, and the self-reported level of happiness on the z-axis, we get this picture. As the age increases,
What the hell does this
spread
mean?
in happiness between different income groups increases as well, suggesting that income matters less when you're young, and we can see the midlife happiness dip for people of lower and middle incomes. Even though the
Okay.
happiness U-shaped theory is still debated, I personally think it's uplifting to see that there's at least a few people that hit their peak in happiness at such an advanced stage.
Strange ass graph, huh?
There's more research related to your life peaks that I didn't include to keep the video short, but in summary, these are some of the peaks in your life. Does that mean you can't learn new languages when you're 30 or be strong when you're 50? Fortunately, you can.
¿Cómo estás?
For most
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Bien. ¿Y tú? ¿De dónde eres? See, guys, my Spanish is peak. You know what? And I just started learning yesterday. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, even at this age, you still got it. You know? You still got it.
most of these things, you can maintain good form and even improve if you take care of yourself. Many athletes can maintain good form throughout life with training. Bernard Hopkins, a professional boxer, won the IBF light heavyweight title when he was 49 years old. And the same principle applies to your brain. Although there is some neural deterioration that occurs with age, your brain can still adapt and improve its performance with mental training. There are a few things you can do to make sure you age well mentally and physically. Take care of your physical health. That means staying active, eating healthy, and sleeping well. Take care of your mental health. Do social activities and hobbies and manage your stress. And
Gotcha.
finally, engage in mentally stimulating activities throughout your life. And no matter how old you are, I personally think it's never too late to start climbing towards a new peak. And if you want to make sure you stay sharp and never stop learning new things, you can try today's sponsor, Brilliant. Brain
Brilliant.
rot was named as word of
Nice. Was that the end? Yeah, I guess it's just a brilliant.
memory in some areas. Stories told with data, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel.
Essentially, there's always a new peak to reach. And I agree with that. I'm glad it's always good to hear it, though, you know? Like, there's always something to strive for. Because I feel like a lot of people, old people always say, like, oh, I'm old now. My life is over. And it's like, no. No, it's not. Not over. Did you get your fidget toy back? No, not yet. Not yet. The older you get, the bigger the forehead. Who is this guy? Is he? He's funny. I see you got a new toy. What is it? I didn't get a new toy. Oh, this? The candle? It smells amazing. Hi, Devontae, Ducky. How was your day and what did you do during the day? Thought I couldn't read that, Farai? Told you my Spanish is peak. How am I supposed to smell it? Smell it, bro. Smell it. Smell it. Smell it. Smell it. Yeah. Get a sniff of that. Yeah, I'll get a sniff of that. It's good, ain't it? That's that motherfucking, that's that citronella scented candle. Pine scent, boy. Yummy.